All right, boys, with the days getting shorter, but really not able to see much sun coming out of this tiny little basement here. There's barely any windows in here, guys. My motivation is getting lower, and I bet you guys are too. So I've been trading a lot out of my bed. So that's what this is about. How the fuck are we gonna make a little bit of money lazing in bed? I tried to do some recordings of doing some live trading there, but I just couldn't get my fucking ass out of bed. And I was able to make 10% there, or 5R, risking 2%. And you can see that we have an image right here that I made just over 10% for the day. And how did we do this? You can see actually the trade progression there. I have some American Dad on my phone, and then I fell back asleep, and I was able to close the trade out in some decent profit there. Now, guys, we're trading majority of the NASDAQ here. The NASDAQ pushes a little bit later into the session than the EU, so it's a little bit better to trade when the days are shorter because we are waking up a little bit later. So I've been switching over to the NASDAQ, so I don't have to wake up at exactly 5 a.m. every morning. I can sometimes push it to like 6. So that's what we're going to be looking at here, trading the NASDAQ. Let's dive into how this trade setup actually played out. So the great thing about trading the NASDAQ here, boys, is it actually goes quite often to 5R, where with the EU trades, the GU trades, it's much more 3R type setups. So as you can see here, we took the short and we were right in the short bias of the day. Now, as I always say to you guys, what do we have to do in order to find a trade setup? First, we have to find our bias. So what direction we're going to be going, and then we have to find our entry point, or we can say the bias, or we could say the point of interest, right? That's where we want to be taking the trade, and then there's the setup. And that's an S, there you go. And then you take the setup and then you let it run, right? You can let it run and you can cut it for different reasons. I have a very smart proprietary system on how I cut my trades. It's pretty simple, guys. I just look at the higher time frames. Just wait for the higher time frame closes. So let's explain the setup here. Basically, all we were doing was, if we're looking at the open here, let's delete everything here. We're looking at the open. Here's the New York Open. We can see quite clearly that we're getting this sweep over that level there, and we're closing back within. That gave us a strong bias to the downside. We also, coming in, it did seem like this was kind of going to be reversing as well, the 2 hour, but the 2 hour was going to be closing in another hour. So our bias was really just based off of the 1 hour coming into the open right there. Then all we had to do was, okay, where's the point of interest, right? Well, the point of interest that we swept was that level right there, and we broke down, right? And then we took the trade setup off of that retest there, right? After we broke down, retest, and then we went to the 5R from that level, right? Now, why did I go all the way to 5R? Well, usually the NASDAQ can do 5R, and that's why I'm saying trade the NASDAQ if you want to be making 10% a day, because you're going to be risking 2, and then if you want to shoot for the 5R, you can make 10% a day. Now, mind you, obviously this isn't going to happen every single day, and if I showed you my monthly results, I'm only at about 15% for this month. So the month is almost over. I made majority of my profit just on today, and then the rest of the month is just pretty flat, right? I can actually pull up a picture here for you guys in a second. So coming into this, the next important part we wanted to watch was to see where that 4 hour close was going to be coming into. So we saw the 6 a.m. there. You can see on that line, that's the 4 hour close. Let's delete this again so you can see, just make sure the 4 hour close was actually showing something bearish. And we did see that candle swept out top there too, right? We failed to gain there. So I was satisfied saying that we're not going to be regaining that level, and then we can continue down to the downside. Then comes 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we're still on the bearish side. Looking at that 7 o'clock close there on the hourly. Still on the bearish side. Let it run, let it run, let it run. And I usually always close out at 5R. That's usually my limit for the NASDAQ because it often reverses. Now, with the NASDAQ, I often continue to trade this into about noon my time. Mind you, I fell asleep. It's Monday. Guys, the days are very short. It's hard to get yourself out of bed, and that's why I'm saying trading in bed here. I fell back asleep, but realistically, we could have actually taken this trade back to the upside after we saw this 8 close, this 8 o'clock close there. We saw there, swept those lows, and we also saw on this time frame as well, the 2 hour time frame, we also closed way above there. So where's the level of interest? Look for your level of interest, you know, somewhere around here, all right? And then we then came for that retest, and this would have been another trade setup to the long side. You know, you could have taken that long right there, 5R, get out, right? And then again, we can say, okay, coming in a couple more hours after that trade setup, let's look for another one. Okay, that 10 o'clock closed really, really bullishly, 4 hour, now breaking back above. We swept those lows, and we could look for another setup. So where's that next setup that we'd be looking for? Maybe around this area, right? And then we'd be looking for that break again. Holy shit, this thing not drawing. There we go. Right around that area. Look for that break again, and the breakout and the retest. There you go. You've gone to 3R, but market closes right around that time, so you might as well get out before you hit the 5R. So theoretically, we could have gotten 13R here today, but that's not how it always works. We like to get our nice 5R and then call it a day. That's all I got for you guys. Hopefully that helps you with your trading, gives you a little bit of logic there. If you guys want to follow my trades, I am doing something in the link in the description. You can follow them for free. I don't charge you guys anything anymore. If you join, it's I do some live trading and some back knowledge, just so you guys can see that. It's in there. All you got to do is sign up under my broker for free. And then other than that, maventrading.co. That's the new prop. Guys, check it out.